Hi everybody and welcome back to I'm Home. I've got a lot of fun stuff today in this video. I can't believe it, but looky there. We have a little bit of sunshine here in Indiana. We've had sunshine like 3 times this week and the temperature was like 64 today. So I went outside and did a little bit of cleaning up in my garden. And while the sun was shining through my window on my cranberry glass, I thought I'd show you a few pieces of that. This is an etched vase that has the grapes. I have several pieces that have the etched grapes on them, and I just love them. Some of them, like this one, has some florals. It's a little vase. Cranberry glass has got gold added to it, is what causes it to have that cranberry color. Some people think that the ruby red is cranberry, or they think that the lighter pink is cranberry, like the depression glass. Cranberry glass is actually like cranberry juice. If you hold it up to the light, it pretty much looks like it. These are hand-painted pieces, kind of in the style of Mary Gregory. I'm not sure if this is a Mary Gregory piece, but she did a lot with little children on them. And this is a hand-painted vase, and I have a huge one just like it I've showed you in past videos, and some vases sitting on my secretary. And then one time I found this adorable little cherub lamp, and he didn't have a top on him. And I brought him home and thought, what am I going to use for a top? And then I remembered I had all these cranberry glass hurricanes that were etched with the grapes and the leaves. So I dug them out and I put one on, and it fit perfectly. And I set it in my office on my secretary cabinet, and I light it up sometimes, but it's a pretty bright pink light. Now, I've been working on some primitive Easter eggs. I found these in my stash from last year. The ones with the sticks have glitter on them, but they actually worked better than the smooth eggs, and I'll tell you why. They have a little texture to them, and I painted them 2 times with a mustard colored paint. I'll show you the paint here in a minute, but they're really easy to do because they're on a stick, and then the stick's easily removed if you don't want it. And after I did the gold, I tapped on a little bit of black, and then this is a red one, and the glitter that looks like it's showing on here doesn't show after 2 coats. And then I dry them and I seal them with a matte sealer, and these are the 2 colors that I used, and I put them in some of my wooden bowls, and they look really primitive, and they don't have the crack around the middle like the plastic ones do. Now, the plastic ones, you can glue them shut, and sometimes I'll take tissue paper and decoupage them, or paper mache like. Just put that all over them and then paint them. These are some curtains that I'll be putting up soon. I put these up in the spring. I made these with an old shower curtain I got while thrifting, and it's the most beautiful pink flower with roses. And I put some beads along the bottom, and you know I love all my roses. So this spring I'll be getting out all my tablecloths and my curtains, and I'm really looking forward to that. I have roses everywhere in my house. This is just a stash I have over in the corner of my dining room. And then, of course, I have all my ones that I get out of my garden. I keep all my garden rose blooms and dry them, and I use them in all kinds of crafts and set them around, and these have been out for years. And then my husband went to exercise the other night. Our school has an activity center where you can go work out, and he goes there sometimes rather than going to Planet Fitness. And I was home by myself in the evening, had the candles burning, and the house was real quiet, and I decided to make a video for you guys of my house, a tour, because you've been asking for it. Well, every time I took a step, there was creaks in the floor, the furnace kept kicking on, I fell over a footstool. I'm going to do it again for you guys, but these are some still shots of some of the pictures of the video. This is a cabinet that I got out of my friend Elaine's garage. It's a tall, skinny, 1.5 foot tall, wide cabinet, and it's about 6 feet tall. And it was black, and it was in the corner of her garage filled with paint cans and oil cans, and it was awful. And I said, Elaine, I'd like to have that. You can tell it's kind of crudely built. And she said, let me ask my husband. So she asked him, and he said he'd take $20 for it. And I painted it many colors. And then this is the TV art that you can put on your television when you don't want it to look like a TV. And I like this particular one because it automatically has its own gold frame around it, and you can't see the frame of your TV when you have it on. I really like them. Some of them have slideshows, some of them are just plain. I use the neutral roses because it goes with everything. And then my husband and I took a little drive the other day, and we were going through Petersburg, Indiana, not too far from where we live. And I thought I'd show you guys some beautiful murals that they have on their streets. It's just a small town about the size of our town. And I wish I knew the artist's name, but I don't. I'm going to have to look that up. But I just think this one is just gorgeous. It's real vivid fuchsia colored peonies, I think. And then you go up the street a little ways and they have this one that's been done in sepia tones on the back of a bank building, I believe. And it's kind of in the alley, but you can't see it when you're coming down the street. And the guy did it with airbrush, and I just think it's gorgeous. It's very reminiscent of the railroad that came through all of our areas. And I think he just did a splendid job. And we have a mural in our town, and I'll have to take a picture of it and share it with you. But isn't it nice for a little town to have something like this to highlight their little town? I think it's wonderful. And then I was looking at one of my miniatures the other day, and this is a little table in the cabin. And I made the little table out of a 2-inch picture frame that was painted black, and I put buffalo check underneath the glass. And this is just such my vibe. A cup for my tea, some books, a lamp. It's just who I am. And the little book, again, shows my roses. If I didn't have anything else to do, I would sit and make little books all the time. And I love to make anything with roses. So this is a little scrapbook, and someday I'll open some of my books and show you. This one has about 25 pages in it, and it actually has pictures in it and little poems and such, and I think you'd like it. And I thought I'd show you what it looks like when you renovate a dollhouse dining room. This was some old carpet that had been in the dollhouse for a long time, and I stripped old wallpaper. And my uncle, who's a printer, he shrunk down a picture of some hardwood floor off the internet, and he made me a vinyl piece in miniature, and I used spray adhesive and put it on the floor. It's still on there, and if I ever want to change it, I can just pull it out and change it. And then I re-wallpapered. Now, I didn't go thrifting much this week. Well, I didn't go at all, but I finally found time to display a few of my good copper pieces that I found. I was really lucky to find some real heavy, good copper a few months ago, and I finally had time to kind of sit it around the kitchen and find room for it. You know, I have a lot of stuff. I have to kind of make room. And then you know how I told you I take ladies' scarves and use them for table runners? This one's one I've had for a long time, and I just love it. It's kind of a red on red. It looks kind of burgundy here, but it's more red. And I thought for Valentine's Day I'd put that out, and it looks really pretty on the table. It's about 1.5 feet wide, and then I got out my little domed dish because I'll be making some treats for hubby for Valentine's Day, and it looks pretty against that. And let's do another shout out for the hydrangeas. Oh my gosh, these are the ones that I picked in September and just stuffed in that basket, and they dried. And this basket's actually hanging next to our back door, right by the back door. And when you come in, you would think that the slamming of the door would knock some blooms off, but it has not. These things are fabulous. They're my new favorite dried flower. And then a couple of years ago, I took a section of our backyard that's right outside our kitchen window, right off of our patio, and I framed it out with bricks around the edge, and I made a curvy shape, and we put the protection down for the weeds, and we put pebble stone in there. And I really love it because we don't have to mow as much, and I have all kinds of places to put my flowers and my chairs, and we sit out there around the fire a lot. And then this is the front of my house where I use black mulch. And I just can't wait to sit out there this summer. I'm already looking forward to it and thinking about what I'm going to do. And then we ended this beautiful sunny day with a herb-crusted chicken and steamed broccoli and a simple salad for supper. My husband and I just like a simple little supper, but I like to make it special too. So I took the Meyer Griller's herb seasonings that I've told you about before, and I used olive oil, and I just brushed it with the chicken with olive oil and used the seasoning and put it in the oven and baked it at 350. And then after about 20 minutes when I thought it was pretty done. I broiled it at 350 for 3 to 5 minutes, and it was delicious. Now, my library that I have, it only has books in it that I consider books that I might read again someday. This book was recommended to me years ago, and I remember thinking that The Dust Bowl wouldn't be a good read. I thought I knew what The Dust Bowl was from school. This is a 2006 edition called The Worst Hard Time by Timothy Egan. He explains the misuse of the land and why we have soil conservation today. He portrays the resilience of the people who survived it, and this book will stay with you. Those are the books I tend to love, the ones that stay with you. I've read a lot that did not. So tomorrow I'm going to take a tour of my friend's shop. I invite you to follow me on Instagram. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for hanging in there with me through all my flubs and bloopers. I am going to redo that video for you of my house, maybe a couple of rooms, and please consider subscribing to my channel as I have so much more in store.